Yo, welcome in. Much love. Trav here with Simon Nielson.
Hello.
Simon, you may know Simon from winning Grand Prix or winning a Grand Prix recently. You were what, World Magic Cup champion with
Yes.
the Dutch team,
Danish team.
the Danish team.
Yeah. Not just the
Um,
Netherlands.
right. Yeah, I haven't been to. I've been up there too much. Um, and you're a mastermind coach.
I am.
Yeah, coach our players, and you also write articles for. Um, who do you write articles for, Simon?
Uh, I read articles for MTG Mint Card.
For
Uh,
MTG Mint Card, and that's your team
yeah, and
also,
soon
yeah.
and soon to be Snapcaster as well. They're doing a
Nice.
collaboration for next season.
Yeah. So you're doing a bunch of things, and yeah, I just wanted to bring you on, introduce you to everybody, and pick your brain a little bit. You're going into your third year as Gold Pro. Obviously, you have a lot to offer for anyone who's trying to go pro at Magic or trying to come up. And yeah, I'm also interested in having kind of lived the pro lifestyle, hearing a little bit about that. So, where
Makes
would you
sense.
like to start?
Hmm. I don't actually know. You can just yeah,
Okay,
break
well,
it
let
up
me just
however
ask
you want.
you, what is it like to play on the pro tour and know for the next year or whatever you're good and just you're gonna go to all these tournaments and grind and be
Yeah,
all over the
it's
world. What is that like?
well with the new system, it's not necessarily a for sure no.
Mm.
Except at this point, I think if I lose all my matches for the next 6 months, I'm still gold. So,
Yeah,
or I need not much at least to make it work. So, um, but basically knowing that you play the next four Pro Tours of a season is that is very huge for being able to plan your lifestyle around it.
hmm,
Getting sponsorships and planning your income, and the Pro Tours are like a lot of fun.
yes,
It's incredible how much difference there is to like from PDQ to Grand Prix
right,
to Pro Tour. Like those things are just miles apart. And
yeah,
the really nice thing about Pro Tours is that everybody respects each other.
yeah,
So that there isn't as much angle shooting or
yeah.
hostility because
Yeah, there's fewer judge calls in the Pro Tour. Like,
yeah,
it's just
people
kind
are
of
just like
smooth.
being yeah. There's just like it's very nice games. They're obviously super tough. Since you
Yeah,
are like testing yourself against the best in the world, and also having these mixed formats. I hope they never ever remove draft from the Pro Tour, even though I'm not great
yeah,
at draft.
uh-huh,
Just because like having that pressure to both prepare for standard and draft is really rough. And when you then like sit
yeah,
down for the first draft pod and you're just like, okay, this is it. This is what all
yeah.
my
These are
preparation has
all
come to. Let's
platinum
open
pros around
let's
me.
open something good.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so much fun. Like the jitters everyone has that the morning of, and all the
And
preparation. Because some people it's their first one ever, and they've been. I mean, for me, I want to say I tried to qualify for the Pro Tour for like 4 or 5 years before doing it. Some people it's longer.
yeah,
How
that's
long is
true.
it?
It can
Yeah.
definitely take a long time. I got super lucky where it
Mm-hmm.
was within I think 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I just happened to stay on the train because I got a bunch of lucky breaks. Like
Luck
basically, I got
or
on because we won the World Magic Cup
yeah.
where I was on a great Danish team. I was the worst player on the team at the time.
Uh,
Uh, uh, but we ended up like miraculously winning the finals, and then like
yeah.
from that Pro Tour and the points I got from there and some team Grand Prix, I ended up getting silver, and then at my silver Pro Tour I went X5 and just chained it all together. So had
Yes.
a lot of really lucky breaks, uh, and which put me in a position where I could play a bunch of Pro Tours in a row, and once you do that, it's a lot easier to actually hit gold and keep playing the Pro Tours. Um,
Mm.
so I feel really blessed for that, and yeah, just like if anyone has ever been in a spot where they like play for top eight of a PBQ or something, like you can feel
Mm.
some pressure there if it's especially if it's your first one, but you
Yeah.
like that tension you can take that and like
Oh
double
God.
it or 10 double it, and that's
Um.
every round at the Pro Tour, especially like
Oh
going into day
God.
two.
I
Like
I had I have a story. If it's okay, you can tell yours.
uh, well, I wasn't gonna tell a story. Just go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I had this match. 2000 started 2017. if I won the match, I was gold and got all these plane tickets, and also it was like X4-1 in the last round of the Pro Tour.
Oh yeah.
So it was also for like, I don't know, 7 grand or something. And then I like did all the math, and I'm like, wow, this match is for like 5, maybe 10 grand. It's like I feel sick. I feel so sick.
Yeah,
Why am I in
that
this
is
position
incredible.
that
Yeah.
this one match matters so much?
I once watched at X5 at a Pro Tour in Sydney, Jason Chung and Oliver Pollock-Rodman play for platinum. The winner got platinum, the
God,
loser didn't. That was the last Pro Tour.
no.
That was absurd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so much pressure. That's so much fun though. Like
Yeah,
go
really.
back to
Like
normal life, and
that's
it's like this doesn't matter. Yeah, or it does, but
that is why I play the game. Like those moments, they really drive me.
yeah. Another really fun thing about the Pro Tour that kind of sets it apart is like, PTQ, you go in the morning. Grand Prix, you like come in Thursday night or maybe Friday night. But like
Yeah.
the Pro Tour usually come in on Monday or even before,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a
You spend
week
so much.
before, and you bunk up with all your buddies and just like nonstop magic for the whole week or 2 weeks leading up to it. It's just
Preparation
so much
time is the
fun.
best part.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Like, you go to the park, go to the pool or whatever, go to the ocean, whatever you have. But just come back and just jam. It's so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you do it right with the breaks, as you mentioned, it is great. But I think that's the other very big part of it. Um, just like spending so much time together with your friends. Like some of my best friends are just from the other side of the world, and I
Yeah.
just get to see them at Pro Tours.
Yeah.
I actually just now today I watched Sen Takahashi, one of my very best friends from New
Uh-huh.
Zealand, the literal other side of the world, go 7-0 in the online RPTQ to qualify for a Pro Tour Atlanta, which means I'll get to see him again.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. By the way, Zen won a PTQ, one slot PTQ with an elf deck that I was playing when he was like 14 or
Oh
15.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I started talking to him that way, but it was like this kid is really good. And
Yeah,
it
he's
turned out to
brilliant.
be really good. But yeah, I mean it's like in addition to that, you care to stay on and to perform and to win. But it's like you and your friends are all trying to like stay on so you can keep seeing each other. Because
Yeah.
it's so sad when you fall off or someone falls off just because it's like, oh man, we're not gonna
Well,
hang out the next tournament.
actually, just to describe the friendship again here between me and Sen, we
Mm.
thought he had fallen off, like wasn't
Uh,
qualified for last Pro Tour, um, but he was still gonna take a vacation to Europe,
mm,
during winter, which is his summer vacation,
hmm.
and he figured out that he actually doesn't have anywhere to spend Christmas, so he's gonna spend Christmas with me this year, which
That's
is like,
awesome.
so even though he is not in the train anymore, we still see each other at like, yeah, very important times.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like you make such good friends on the other side of the world. It's pretty
That
incredible.
is the most important part of Magic, and yeah, it actually leads into to one of the points I want to make here and
Mm,
messages I want to deliver. Um, is that I think that being nice at the Magic table is a huge advantage, not disadvantage. Like some people might think that you need to be intimidating or to like be, in Uber game mode, just
mm-hmm,
try and get all the angles you can to win, not talk to the opponent,
mm-hmm.
be rude, like try and like mind trick them or
Yeah.
something. But the thing I've discovered is that since I started, you know, focusing on both my own and my opponent's enjoyment of the match, like
Mm-hmm.
making jokes and relaxing the atmosphere, and not being overly strict with judge calls and
Mm-hmm.
such, I've started to play better. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
once I started doing that, that was at the start of this season,
Uh-huh.
and I just hit like 2 Grand Prix sub 8s in a row after that, and I felt like
Boom.
incredible in the zone. Um, and what I think this does is that when you go into a match of Magic, there's a lot of tension. We just described this like playing for so much
Uh-huh.
money, especially like when you once you
Yes.
go into the higher tables at a Grand Prix or something, and that can really get into your head. And if you
Mm-hmm.
just try, if you just tighten even more up to this tension, and like you don't speak to your opponent, or maybe you're a little bit rude, or you try and angle shoot, and then there's like this hostility at the table. It's that tension just gets intensified more, and it's it can really get to you, and you can make plays that you would normally not make in a relaxed atmosphere. So what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to, relax the situation and like, make sure that both me and my opponent are, like having as good of a time as we can have. Obviously, like maybe they mulligan to 5, and it's really hard to, make a happy situation out of that. But at least try the best I can to release this tension so that I know that I have the room to think. I also know that my opponent has the room to think, but this is where I would say that I make enough mistakes that I would just prefer to just focus on making myself play as best possible. And then, the opponent, if you get an advantage too, that's fine, because I just want to make sure I play at my best.
Yeah.
And the second, sorry. Well, the second thing about this is that being nice at a table, make sure you get a whole lot of contacts, because you just make friends. And as I mentioned before, making friends is the most important part of this game. Having fun is the most important part. So when you do this, you will just see not only your friend group grow, but also that also means like your contacts and your opportunities. That means you can talk to more people about deck choice. Which exactly, like test with it, so that makes your deck choices better, or you can like talk about plays with somebody, and that will make you play better, and you get the opportunity to maybe go to a Grand Prix you couldn't go to before because you can crash at somebody's place. Who you did, like I've done that multiple times now, where people are just offering me their couches because we've had good interactions in the past, and this lets me go to more Grand Prix, even though my only job is Magic and my income is, after all, limited. So I think there's just so many advantages to let go of that I must win at all cost mentality, because actually I think that being relaxed and nice is your best chance of upping your expected value at Magic tournaments.
I had a couple of points if I can remember them, but one, I mostly came to the same agreement on that. Like, just I don't know what it is about it, but it should be a fun game. It shouldn't be. It's plenty stressful already. But also, like one thing I found is like if I, don't call the judge on some nitpick, they're not going to call the judge on me on some nitpick. Or if they do, then it's like, okay, I guess that's how it will be. But people were more. I feel like it evens out for advantage, and it's just makes things more fun. But I do think there's certain times where you're like, come on, you have to be like, come on, man, what are you doing? Like, you can't do that, and call the opponent out.
I mean, you still have to call judges, but just make sure to be friendly about it. It doesn't have to be like, immediately as soon as they like make some mistype, you just raise your hand.
I think it's necessary though. Like I remember, I think it was at a pro tour, but I don't know. I want to say like the opponent insinuated that I had cheated or something, and I like flipped out. And I think like sometimes it's appropriate if the opponent's doing something inappropriate to say that's not cool. And then the other thing I was going to say is like in a similar vein, like I think, I don't know if I got stupider. I used to do everything in my head, and then I would like use a lot of misdirection to, like figure out what was in the graveyard without looking in the graveyard, or like, figure out how many cards are in the library without counting the library. But then like, I don't know, I do better now when I just say everything out loud and like have no filter.
Well, actually,
share my strategy with my opponent, just so I see their reaction and so that I make sure I don't screw it up. So like with the attacking and blocking, like give them optimal blocks and see what happens, just so I don't screw it up.
Yeah, I actually don't think that means you got stupider. I think that means you got better. So there's more things that you think about in the game, which means you have less brain capacity to, keep in your head how many cards are in the library, or make combat math in your head.
So that's one thing. I was doing that at the Pro Tour. It's like,
I
that's
also
more
just sometimes say out loud. I actually had it happen. This is a pretty funny story. At Grand Prix Mexico City, there was Oath of the Gatewatch Limited. During day one, I had it happen twice. Twice that I line up my opponent's blocks, figure out, okay, this is an okay thing to Alpha Strike, so just Alpha Strike. And then as as my opponent is going to blocks, I realize, oh no, they can block in this other way, and then I'm on board. And then they just block in a way I put up. That happened twice.
Oh my god. That's absurd. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a way to manipulate. Yeah, like give them.
Yeah, but it was not on purpose at all. It was, I just missed it, but
I wouldn't expect them to. Yeah,
it usually happens a lot when you were very open about these things and you miss something, then your opponent's also gonna miss it.
So I'm gonna attack with everything, and you're gonna chomp.
Yeah.
Do as I say.
But if you try to do this to like purposely mislead your opponent, it has a lot less chance of working because you don't believe in it yourself. So it's like the opponent might get some sense that you're trying to trick them. Whereas in this spot, I was just 100% sure that this was the right block for them. So my opponent believed that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you missed it, they're likely to miss it.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this. Yo, you just won a Grand Prix. What?
I did. Grand Prix Birmingham. Yeah, standard.
What does that feel like? You know, I've never held I haven't held a big event trophy.
Yeah, that was it was my second one then, because there was the World Magic Cup, which, to be fair, nothing really tops that, but that was an incredible event. By the way, to any of you, if you haven't watched the finals of that, Marshall Sutcliffe and I did a great breakdown of that. It's called like the MTG Rewind of the MTG Rewind, Simon Nielson, World Magic Cup Finals, something like that. Where, well, it's just one of the best matches of Magic that has been played at a high level. Everybody keeps telling me this, like they just, I haven't watched this before, but now I saw Marshall's video and it's like, holy shit, holy, like this match is insane. That is, I get that a lot. So that's the first thing. But about winning the Grand Prix, I would obviously, like, it felt really amazing. I did not expect that, especially since on day 2 I overslept and missed my first round.
Oh my god! And you got a round loss?
Yeah, I woke up 4 minutes before the start of the round. Like I just slept straight through my alarm clock, and my roommate, he had missed day 2, so he just went home early instead. So I was just alone. Nobody else heard the alarm clock. I just slept through it and just woke up to like the sunlight. It's like this very bright. It shouldn't be this bright this early in the morning. Then okay. Actually overslept by 2 hours. So I just but my strategy at that point was that, okay, there's nothing I can do because it takes half an hour to get to the site. So I'm just going to eat my match loss and then make sure that I don't stress myself. And, because that will probably, affect my performance.
Were you XO or X1 at that point?
I was X1. So I knew that, like, my goal was to, like, X3. So I thought, okay, that's fine. I just need to go, like, 5-1 now to get my X3. And they'll be good, or like 4-2 to get the couple pro points. So I thought, okay, it's not the worst situation, and I just took it slow, not too slow, obviously. I just took my shower, went got some quick breakfast, went to the site, and I arrived like after an hour or so. So there was like 10-15 minutes until the next round started. So like I was in relatively comfortable time before the next round. Tell the scorekeeper that, hey, I'm not gonna get dropped from the tournament. I'm still here, and I just played on and just won every match for the rest of the day. And I think part of that was that, well, I guess I got more sleep than our competition, and
that's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge.
And also, I was just super calm the whole way through. So I think I handled that really well. And at the end, I did not expect to win the finals. I knew that my semifinals matchup I was okay with, since there was a red-black mirror and I won all my mirrors. But the finals was either going to be Martin User, who had almost beaten me in the last round, but I managed to intentional draw with him instead. I asked him, he was at 3 life, and it was game 1. He was at 3 life, but I was dead on board. So in my upkeep, before I drew my card, I asked him for a concession. Since at that point, because there was, like, if I drew, it would be like 50-50, depending on another match. But at that point, I think I was below 50% to win the match. Obviously, since I had to draw, like, one of my 3-outers. Otherwise, I'm a game down. but also not far enough behind that he would just decline the draw. So that was a pretty funny spot. But yeah, I knew that Martin User would be a bad matchup for me in the finals. And
Martin User is a bad matchup for anyone, anytime.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've never beaten him, and Leo Lahonen was playing Blue-White Control, which my deck was not teched against at all. He was playing the good version. That wasn't playing any other win conditions than Teferi. So, but I managed to actually beat Leo in the post-board games, and that was quite unexpected. And there's if you've watched like my Winners interview afterwards, you can probably get an idea of how I felt, since I was just over the moon and like just
until now
jabbing away. Yeah,
that's I lost one finals. I could have won if I had cast Transgress the Mind, and I didn't. And I think about it all the time.
Oh jeez. Yeah, that's painful.
Cast it.
Yeah, you always think back to those things.
I can max out my mana on other stuff. He's only drawn 2 cards since I last checked his hand, but boom, Emrakul, I would have seen. Yeah, oh well. Fun times. Yeah, so I'm looking to come back 2000, end of this year, coming off suspension. Not on the tour at all, but I'm living in Hawaii now, so I'm looking at cheap flights to U.S. West Coast, Japan, and Oceania.
That's true. You can actually easily get to Japan now. That's an advantage for sure.
There's tickets to Osaka.
The Japanese GPs are so big, so.
Yeah, but it's for fun now. Also, yeah, it's for fun. But yeah, $280 round trip. Crazy, right?
That's actually great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Also, the Japanese Grand Prix since they are so large, that also means that there's a lot less competitive players in there. So the field is like slightly softer, not because the Japanese players are worse, but just because there are more, which means there are more F&M level players that play Grand Prix.
Yeah, fewer.
Yeah, so the saturation of pros are like less. That's what I'm saying. Because I think in general, the Japanese players are probably better than the US players, but yeah, it's
probably healthier, think sharper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other advice you'd have? Say someone's like, I want to do that, but right now I'm just like going to a couple events here and there. Someone who's taking action, but is like has not yet succeeded. What would you tell them?
Well, the first thing I would say is that if you want to achieve your goal, I think it's very likely for it to happen to you if you work smart, like, focus on your play, not your results and not your amount of luck or whatever. Like, focus on, your deck chores and your plays, and like make sure you make things smart. And then take as many shots as you can afford to, as you are willing to. Because the more shots you take, your chance of doing well increases. Because this game has a lot of variance. So if you're like, if you're like, I need to make day 2 at a Grand Prix in this year to feel good about myself, and you play 2 Grand Prix this year, you're not that likely to succeed. But if you play 5 or if you play 10, like, then you're almost guaranteed to do so if you do these things smartly. Obviously, it depends on like which level you're at. It is like a ladder. You can't just jump 3 steps ahead. It does take some time to build up your expertise, especially getting used to playing competition. It's something that there's just no substitute for experience. So it does take some time. Like getting onto the Pro Tour, especially if you're starting from 0, that will usually take multiple years.
Yeah. Yo, also advice.
Yeah?
Go ahead. Actually, you finish.
I forgot what I was going to say. Just go on.
Yo. I mean, if for serious players, join the mastermind if you haven't. I know some people, not everyone's applied. Some people applied and thought, maybe this isn't for me right now. But it's awesome this year. We've got Simon and Ben Friedman both have had massive success on the tour, and also Adam Yurchik and Jody. But I mean, just a way to get, be around a bunch of real competitive players who are bought in and get feedback from pros and so on. We see our players get great results, and
I feel like I get. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
I feel like I get an advantage from the group.
Oh, it was huge. I wouldn't have got back on the tour without the group.
Yeah, it's actually incredible. It feels like having a protesting team with like obviously fewer pros than what I'm used to from Min Carter or Eureka. but just instead a lot of very motivated players and stuff like you probably already heard about it, but GP Seattle, where like there were 3 people with the blue-red gift deck, and all of them just came from this group, like in the top 8. That was absurd.
Yeah, we break it from time to time. That's not the only time that has happened. Like that, another example is the Etherworks Marvel, the green-red Spider Delirium version.
Was that you as well?
And hang on, that list, the first list was Nerlens, Nerlens or whatever.
Yeah, Nielson Orlander. Yeah,
from our group added Chandra to that deck, and then and then from there we added White also for Nahiri. And then, like, we were watching an SCG, and Ben was playing in the finals in a mirror match, like, 2 weeks later.
That was such a great innovation of that format. Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and there's been others. I mean, like, the Black-White Tokens deck that I took second at the GP was so ridiculous, such a ridiculous deck that, like, just some guy in the group, Marion, he's not a pro at all. He had this deck, and it's, like, 0 creatures, 14 planeswalkers, all these oaths. It was such a broken deck for that tournament. So, yeah, I mean, at times you get great tech in advance, but other times you just kind of get tournament advice.
Like so many people just post their sealed decks or something that they're building and just get input from a lot of people. And I think that's awesome. That really helps a lot at just getting that discussion going. So, yeah, if you're serious about the game, like, can definitely recommend the group, and not just because I'm in it. Like, just.
And if you come in through this video, make sure to put Simon as your reference, though.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So anything else you wanted to add or advice you wanted to give?
I think not. Yeah, I think I just got through my main points.
Cool.
Here.
Thank you so much for coming on, Simon. Hopefully we'll see you in 2019. I don't think
can I just plug my stream?
Yeah.
I'm streaming. Media. Sometimes I'm probably gonna try and start it up a little bit now again with the new season here. But at twitch.tv/redbuttontie, that is the tie you might recognize.
Red button tie.
Red button tie. Yeah. And you can follow me on Twitter. And it's very awkward that I made this Twitter handle before I started branding myself, but it's so it doesn't make sense at all. But it's at Mr. Checklist Card. That is MR Checklist Card.
Not, like a checklist card.
Yeah, exactly. Like the ones from Nicol Bolas or Innistrad or like Search for Cancer, those things.
Yeah, and everybody listening, also, I hope to see y'all. I'll keep you updated on my tournament schedule. Coming back and try to do more interviews and more collabs. And
yeah, sounds great.
I'm not going to take it as seriously as before, but I do miss the game. And
yeah, the game is great.
Excited to play again. Yeah.
I'm sure I'll see you at the Pro Tour again. It's
possibly. I'm not going to try. I mean, like, it's really hard from Hawaii.
Yeah, that's true. I get guess the outside shot. So it depends a lot on like how much you play Magic Online, which is probably not a lot.
It can't be very much. I mean, when I'm preparing for the Grand Prix, I'll take an hour a day, but I can't even afford more than that, really, with the other things that I'm doing. But, I mean, I love the other things I'm doing, so yeah, so it works out.
That's good, too. Loving what you do is definitely the most important thing.
Yeah. All right, Simon, thank you so much. Make sure everybody go follow him. Those of you who haven't joined the mastermind, you should check it out. There'll be a link to that down below. Peace out. Much love.
Sounds good. Bye.